Okay, so today we're going to draw a couple of um, little characters, and we'll do some shading on them. But before we do shading, we're going to just draw. Let's draw three little shapes, three little squares. Well, there could be any shape. Let's do a square, a circle, and a triangle. Just really rough. Give us something to work with because we're going to do some hatching techniques to begin with. So shading kind of thing. So let me zoom in a little bit. Okay. So on this square, I'm just going to do it with my pencil for now. So on the square, I'm just going to start at the bottom corner here and then just draw some diagonal lines, but sort of flicking. See, I'm sort of going to start here and then flick. If I do that all the way along and then up one side like that, it sort of gives it a feeling that there's some shadow around the side, and maybe the light, the sun, is shooting down and hitting this side, this area, but then this area is in shadow. So that's called hatching. So we'll do it on the circle now. So again, you can sort of bring it up as far as you want, or I'm going to bring it right up higher, like this. So it looks like it's got light hitting there and this whole area is in shadow. But if I go back, if I'm getting a little closer there, if I go back and do even more hatching in between these lines, a bit hard to see. So I'm looking around the camera. Do one or two lines in between. So I'm making it even darker. So we've got light area, a medium area, and a darker area. But then I could go back and almost scribble like that. And that's making it darker still. So you can see there's definite shades, but then as you pull back, it sort of blurs and it looks like it's in shadow on one side and light on the other. Okay, so another way, so that's hatching. So now what we're going to do is cross hatching. So on this triangle, same thing again, we'll just do some lines on one side. And then we'll do lines going the opposite way. So we drew lines going this way. Now we're going to draw lines going that way to make it look like a cross. But you don't have to go all the way through like this. You can just do some like that. Maybe some on this side too. That's called cross hatching. So this is hatching. This is cross hatching because we're crossing them over. So there are a couple of different ways that you can make shading on your drawings, whether it's shapes or faces or whatever. It could even be, just say, could be somebody's arm. And you might want to add just a little bit of shading down one side, like that. So just a little bit of shadow. Or, you could always just draw in shadow and color it in a darker color if you're doing like a skin tone, and then a darker skin tone for this bit. But the hatching adds a bit more illustrative kind of look to it. Okay, so that's two types of hatching. I'll show you another one. This one's fun, but very time consuming. This is called stippling. And stippling is when you get a brush or a pencil and you just dab it like that. Dab, 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 dab. See how I'm getting lots of dots? You don't want to press too hard because you'll break your pencil, or especially if you're using a felt tip pen, you don't want to damage this little end. Oh, where is it? You don't want to damage that little end there that draws the ink, because once you push that in, it won't work anymore. So Stippling, I'm actually going to do it, instead of doing dots, I'm going to draw little circles like this, just because it's easier for you guys to see. So just say I want to have this area white, and this area is on mid-tone, and then this area really dark. So I'm going to do no dots in there. In this area, I'm going to do a few, just a couple little dots. And then this area, I'm going to do more dots. And then this area, I'm going to do lots of dots. Almost fill it in. Now, if I sort of blend that in, so add a few more dots down towards this area. And a couple up here. If I pull out from that, sort of see how it looks like it's in shadow here, because there's more dark, more dots to fill in the white spaces. So it's making it look darker, and it gets lighter there. It's the same thing as doing for all of these hatchings. It's the same as just shading something again, like this. And then, making it a little bit darker. And then making this area a bit darker again. And then you could even blend that with your finger. So it's just a way of doing shading without shading and getting messy and getting dirty fingers like that. So just little dots, stippling, single lines, hatching, double lines, cross hatching. So there's 3 different types there. I'll show you one more type, and then we'll draw something together. So this is called random lines. Now, random lines is when you just squiggle, just continuous, just do a little squiggly line. And if, say I want it darker in this corner, then again, I fill in a lot more of the white space. And then as I get to the whiter areas, I do bigger loops and then fill it in down here. And get it really just scribbling. It's called uneven lines. I think that's what it's called. So there you go. You can see that when you pull out, get some nice sort of shading happening. You could do that with different colors, like yellows down to orange, down to reds even, to make it darker. Okay, so just give me a second to try and get my other camera up, because I'd love to see how you guys did with those. Let me see if I can get into this class, and then we will draw a little character and we will try putting some of these hatching techniques on them. Give me a second. Peter, I'm just trying to join up with my other computer.
That's okay. You just log it in. Do you need? Okay.
Yeah, it's logging in. I think I'm there. Just waiting for you to let me in.
Okay. You should be in by now.
Okay. There I am. Hi. I can finally see everyone. Cool. All right. All righty. So let me see how you guys did with that. Hold up your little stippling things. Oh my God, Jonah. And let me see how you went. Seth, that looks pretty good. Everyone's a bit frozen at the moment. It's still loading in. So I can't see. I think I might drop out again. Saying my internet's not stable, but it's weird because my phone's on the same internet. All right. So let's try drawing a little simple character. And oh, I just dropped me out of the meeting again. For some reason, I can't connect today. All right, so let's just draw a simple character. Oh, it's back in. Weird. Okay, so we'll start off. I'll just move this camera out a little bit. There we go. So I'm just going to start with a simple character. Let's just draw a big round head. And we'll draw a small body. Remember, press lightly because we can always darken it up later. So big round head, small body. Let's put some features in there. So let's find the middle of our head and where we want to put the eyes. So I'll draw some big eyes in there. I can't see the screen anymore, so I can't tell how quickly you guys are catching up or not. Let's put a little smiley mouth. Maybe some ears. And then on the body, we'll add some legs. Let's do some arms, just sausage arms as well. And then you can put little details like tongue and teeth, or just shading the mouth, shading the eyes. You could add some hair, whatever kind of hair you want. Some eyebrows. Camera's back on again. That's nice. Yeah, so let's just add some, you can add some clothes on there, put some pants, a shirt, or a dress, or whatever you want to draw, whatever clothing you want to put onto your character. I'm gonna make mine simple. T-shirt, no feet, just pants. And then for the hair, maybe I'll give him a little bit sticking up at the back there, a little fringe. Okay. Throw out some of my sketchiness in the hair. So I can see people now, but everyone's frozen. And I dropped out. Okay. I think I might give up on that. All right. So, excuse me. What we could do is just say that was the drawing we wanted to do. We could then get a felt tip pen and start drawing around it. So cleaning it up. So all my sketchy lines, especially around the eye there, they're very sketchy, and down the side of the head. I could then get my felt tip pen and trace it slowly and steadily like that, and make it nice and neat. And then when that ink is dry, just give it a bit of a wave to make sure it's dry. And on a clean eraser, I could then rub all my pencil lines out, and then I have a nice dark line for my character. I could then go and color that in, maybe with a, I've got a Sharpie here, which is a bit thicker. And I could just color his eye in. Make sure you've got paper underneath the paper that you're using if you're going to use markers of any kind. And make sure you always put the lids back on. You don't want them drying out. So look how much darker that is and how much it stands out one eye to the other. So we could trace all that, but I'm not sure who has markers or textures or not. So maybe I'll skip over most of this. I'm just going to draw around the head, just because that's my messiest area. So I'm just going to go around the face here, and I'm not doing it perfectly, still a bit bumpy. You can always go back and clean it up and thicken up some of those lines. It's a bit wobbly here. There we go. Make sure that dries, because I did do a bit of a going over it a bit, put more ink on the page and makes it wetter. So just rub out this section. Okay. All right. So you can see there how much darker around the head is and that eyeball. I'm not going to do anymore. So let's add in some of the hatching. Why don't we do some of this normal hatching, not the cross hatching, just the straight hatching. We could do some of that sort of around the face, just coming in a little bit. Maybe even go around the ear. So it adds a little bit to it. A little bit of detail, a little bit of shading. So the light's coming from over here, this way. So there's going to be highlights up here, shadows down here. But his hair is sitting over his face, so there might be a bit of a shadow under that. And then his head's going to be casting a shadow on his body. So we could use the hatching we've already got there on the head and extend it. Maybe down between his legs, on the outside of his body. And you'd even have some on the outside of the hair. But we could try, in the hair, maybe we could try these random lines. They're not uneven lines, they're random lines. Even though he doesn't really have shaggy hair like that, but we could just squiggle, 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 get it dark in these further away areas, and then sort of do bigger loops and squiggles in those lighter areas. You can do hatching on the hair, you can do whatever kind of thing you want. I'm just trying to do some different kinds of hatching to show that you can do them on different do different kinds of hatching on the one area, on the one drawing. There we go. Give it a little bit of a smudge to help it. Like even on his shirt or something, could have done stippling or something like that. This kind of hatching sort of works with craziness or hair. But if you can use it in the background to make, like if you're doing a character that's maybe, he's being really evil and crazy, maybe his eyes are all over the place, sort of like a crazy Joker kind of character. You could do all that kind of squiggliness around behind it, like in the picture. You can make it darker in the corners, or even darker just around the character, and lighter out. So they don't always have to be on the characters. Even if you're doing buildings and things like that, you could do the different types of hatching on buildings and wood and stuff like that. Just say we're drawing a plank of wood. Like, let's just draw it in a rectangle. And then we'll thicken it up a bit, turn it into a 3D object. Doesn't have to be perfect. But think about what a piece of wood looks like. It's got lines going through it. Sometimes it has knot holes like that. So it's got lots of lines. So you could do hatching on it or cross hatching because you want to continue those lines and the feeling of a piece of wood. Or think about, you know, a stone from a river, like a river pebble is nice and round and smooth. So the stippling might be good for that because it looks like a little rough, dimpled texture. I'm not going to do all of these because it will take forever, but you get the idea. Or even if you're doing like a big jagged rock, I'm going to do some lines on the inside. But the hatching might be better because it's more of a jagged rock. So those hatchings can be different shapes or even cross hatching to make it darker in some areas. Didn't realize that was off the screen. Sorry about that. So there I used hatching and only a little bit of cross hatching here and there for the rock. So it really depends on what you are trying to draw and what sort of textures you want to give it. You could just say you're drawing someone who has a nice woolly sock and you want to give it some texture. You could put some elastic at the top, but maybe it's a furry sock, so you might want to add some hair to it. Just little lines. You could even draw that on someone's leg and give them leg hair. You could even draw hair like that, like even on someone's chest hair, or even their hair could be like that. And again, make it a bit darker on the bottom, or wherever the light isn't hitting it. And especially because I know we've drawn animals in the past too. So we're going to draw like a nice little bunny. Very simple bunny. But instead of just drawing a smooth back like that, you could have added some texture to it. Same with the tail. So yeah, that could have been there. And with the tail, you can make it fluffy and curly. So there's all kinds of different textures you could add to show different things. This could be hair as well, like hair on the top of someone's head, or hair on a hair. Okay, so that's a few different hatches and a few different ways of using it. So why don't we draw something now and think about when we're drawing hair, we're not going to draw straight lines. We're going to try and draw hair like this or hair like this. And when we're drawing skin, is the skin going to be spotty, like a lizardy skin, or like a rock surface? Things like that. Let's see what we can come up with. So everyone get a new space for drawing something. And let's try and think of something that has multiple, sorry, just on my computer again, multiple things on it. So I think like a lizard might be good, because if we do some clothing on the lizard. But let's draw something simple and cute. See, that's where the eyeball went through onto my other page. So that's why you always have to have paper underneath. Okay. I can see a few of you now. I can see Sally and Adam, but everyone's frozen again. So I can't really see what you. This is where you need to get your parents to take photos and send them into Brilliant Kids so we can put them online so that I can see them because of my technical difficulties, I can't see them today. So let's think of this guy. Draw an oval. That's going to be the head. And sort of a semicircle shape. Or a bean shape, actually. There we go. A bean, like a baked bean or a kidney bean. So we've got a head and our body. We're going to draw on some little legs. Just short little stumpy legs. Oh, I've gone again. There's one little leg. Rub out some of these lines. A lot of lines there. They're really scribbled. Maybe a little tail. I feel like drawing a dinosaur now that I'm sort of drawing a lizard. I like dinosaurs. There's his tail. Let's make him a cute dinosaur. So I'll give him a big eye. And his mouth. Should we make it a T-Rex? His mouth and his eye there. So I kept the jaw big in that area. That's why I brought the mouth up near the eye. It's because a T-Rex has big jaw. But then we could give him a small arm, a little arm, and a couple of fingers. 1, 2, 3. Let's just do 3. 3 small fingers on his little arm. And even though I said T-Rex, I feel like I want to add some spines to his back after I do that leg. The second leg. Should have another arm there, but I might leave that for now. I want to draw some spikes on his back. Maybe he's a bit more like Godzilla. And I'll give him a little one on his tail. I'll do some on his head as well. Maybe one on his nose and give him a nostril. I think that's pretty good. That's enough. That's enough dinosaur bits. So we can make these look hatchy. Do some hatching on them because they're like horns, and on these ones. Could make his skin, draw circles in it for stippling. Maybe what can we use? Well, we don't really have hair on there, but we could give him. He could be like a caveman, so we could have like a fur skin on, like a fur tunic. Or we could even draw hair on him. Give him a hat or a beard, whatever you feel like. I might playing around here. I might give him some furry underpants, like He-Man. It's like I'm drawing a big nappy or a diaper on him. So these are going to be furry, these pants. Actually, I might bring it up there or up there. I might bring it up there, as if he's wearing overalls. Like that. Okay, so I'm going to switch over to a felt tip pen, but those who don't have it, you can still use your pencil, or you could even use a biro or something like that. But this is the way I'm going to add the hatching and stippling and things to it. But you can still do it with a pencil. My computer's still trying to join to this meeting. So I'm just going to start with the eye. I'm going to go around the eyeball. And I think I want to add a highlight in. So just with my pencil, I'm going to draw a circle. Just a minute, sorry, I just got a phone call. So if you can see there where I drew that other circle, I don't want to trace all the way around it because this is white and this is white. So I'm just going to trace around where it crosses over the black part of the eye, and then trace the black part of the eye. Now let me rub that out. Let me rub that out to show you what I did. Okay. See how there's an open section that's going to be all white? And then this bit's going to be all black. There you go. It just makes the eye stand out a bit more and it makes it look shiny.
Evan, can you turn the camera around? It looked like portrait.
Yeah.
Like 90 degrees.
There we go.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's just because I just got a phone call come in and it's messed everything up. I could have done another circle there. Or if you got a white pen or even some liquid paper, you could add another one in. Okay, so let's start with this horn. I'll zoom in a bit. Fall off. Oh, okay. So I'm just going to trace this horn up this way and back down. See how I was nice and slow. I didn't rush it, didn't do it really quickly. And I want the horn to have some ridges in it that go around. So actually I might just draw a couple like that. And then I will just rub that out. Now I'm going to do the sun coming from this side again. So I'm going to do hatching on this side here. So I'm just going to do single line hatching like this. 1, 2, 3. You don't have to count them. There's no certain amount, just as long as they fill in. Yeah. So that adds a little bit of texture, a little bit of shading to the line. Okay, just gonna color in his nostril. And while you guys are doing that, I'm just going to trace the mouth. And I want that to be a bit darker, so I might use the very tip of this Sharpie I don't want it to be really dark. So I'm just pressing very lightly just to get the very end of the point. Like that. And then I'm going to trace around the bottom of his jaw and the top of his nose and head. Because I'm going to add some stippling on this. Okay. Remember, just be careful if you are tracing and erasing, give it time to dry because you will smudge. You will smudge your drawings. Something's happening. Maybe joining the Zoom meeting again. Okay, so excuse me. I'm going to do some stippling around here, but instead of dots, I'm going to actually draw circles. So just a few, because they're going to look like scales. You do some bigger and some smaller, even some that are dots. Just sort of fade them off as you go up. So there could be just a few up here. But down here, I want to have more of them. So that adds a bit of texture to the back of his head. And we can do a little bit of that down here as well. Under his jaw. And just fade that in with a few little dots and things. So I'll hold that up a bit closer so you can see that. Peter, can you quickly give me the meeting passcode?
Okay, the passcode. Hang on.
Yep.
647.
Yeah.
334.
Let's see if that works. Because it just started joining me up to the room in a different way. Okay, so let's move down to the mouth. And I'm going to add in some, lizards have like scales around their lips. And just going to do those simple little lines. It could be like a couple together or spaced apart. Just like that. Just a few little lines. You could even draw teeth or something under there if you wanted. So I'm just drawing little creases like that. Look at that. And then, of course, we're going to add in a few more scales around the nose. Around the back of the eye. Up near where the horn has some shadow onto the skin. So we can keep on doing that, like all the way down the body. Okay, so I'm going to just skip past the arm and I'm going to move down to his furry underpants. So these lines I did down the side here, like the strap, his overalls. I'm going to start somewhere in the middle and just draw a little curve out. Make it jaggedy. See that? Just makes it look a little hairy. You can just, they don't have to all join up. You do some lines that don't touch, some that are just next to each other. And continue that up or down, you go either way. Just add some little fuzziness. And I'll just rub out that section so you can see. So there's no straight line in there anymore. It's all just fuzziness. And then even within that, I could do some lines just to make it feel a bit more like fur. So I'm going to continue that all the way down and then all the way around to the bottom there and down between his legs as well. And then just try and make it look like he's killed maybe he killed a mammoth to eat and he used the skin to make himself some pants. So just continue doing that all across those hair areas. Just little bits of texture. So even just these little bits of hair is hatching. So we're doing lots of different kinds of hatching today. Okay. I'll let that dry for a little bit and then I will rub it out. There we go. A little dinosaur with hairy pants. So while you're finishing that off, I'm just going to draw down his back, thicken that up a bit, nice and smooth. Sometimes I do it sketchy like that to get the nice curve happening. Sometimes I need to go back over it to smooth the line out if my hand's been a bit wobbly. Don't forget to turn your page around too, because my hand only really works in that angle. See that curve? That curve basically of his back. Because I'm left-handed, if you're right-handed, it'll work the other way. So if I wanted to do that curve, I'd have to turn this all the way around that way to do that curve. But luckily, I draw what is the right way from my hand most of the time. When I don't, I have to then turn the page around. So once I have these back spikes done, I'll put some lines through them like this one. Those 2 lines, do 2 on all of them. And then I will do the hatching again. 1, 2, 2. I was just thinking you could actually color these different colors too. You could do it like red, orange, yellow, like a candy corn or something. I think they're white on the end actually. So I've got those in. So I'm going to do the hatching up the side like that one. Just using the same angle. I'm not changing the angle. I'm not moving the paper. So I've got them all on the one angle. So I'm just going to turn this slightly to do this side. And then I'm going to turn slightly again to do this one. There we go. So I'll rub those lines out, or the pencil lines. There we go. Well, it looks like he needs a bit of stippling scales down his back as well. So I might draw those in where the shadow is being cast, or where I can imagine the shadows going from the spines, which I'm using this sort of area. So I can see where I've drawn them down there. So I'm going to draw the dots just next to it or just behind it. And maybe some on the other side for the his fur pants, giving him a little bit of shadow there. Okay, I'm going to trace his arm and his body, his hand. I just saw a blank area there, so I thought I'd add a few more hairs. So just every now and again, look at your drawing and think where you can make it better. Okay, so there's going to be a bunch of stippling down here on this side, maybe a little behind his head, a little under his chin, like that. Circles and dots, that's all I'm drawing. Circles of different sizes and little dots, just touching the end of my felt tip to the page. I'll do some on his arm as well. Okay, almost done. So I'll trace over his legs now. For the feet, I might draw in some toes, some claws. So I'll come down the back of his leg, towards the front, and about there, I'll come back and draw a little claw. You see that? Then I'll draw, maybe I'll bring the leg down, draw a second one in. So I've got two little claws on his foot. On the foot at the back, I'll just draw the shape. And that's where we can do some cross hatching to make that darker. And we always draw the leg that's further behind with a little shade to it, make it a bit darker. Sorry, I'm losing my voice. So I want to start with that one. So on that small leg in the background, I'm just going to draw some hatching all over it, fill in the whole space with hatching, all in one direction like that. And then I'm going to draw hatching the opposite direction, filling up the whole thing. There we go. So now it looks like he's wearing fishnet stockings or just crisscrosses all over his legs. But from a distance, it looks like it's just in shadow. So now we need some stippling on the top of his leg and down the back. So I might draw some little lines in for the creases in his knee. And then I'll go back to stippling. Dot, dot, circle, dot, circle, dot, dot. Okay. The last thing I got is his tail. And the tail's pretty much the same. We'll trace it, put some stippling underneath, and trace the horn, the spike. And maybe I won't put lines for this one, but I'll do the hatching down the side as well. So I'm turning that page around so it's the right angle for my hand. I'm taking my time. Get nice, smooth lines. Okay. Drawing the little spike. Dry the ink. And erase the pencil lines. Now put in some hatching on the spike and some stippling or dots, dot shading, you call it whatever you want, on the tail. Okay. And then I think our little dinosaur dude is done. And we've got 6 minutes left of the class. I got a bit of a sore hand. I just had to crack my knuckle from doing all those little dots. So you could then, when you color that in, these dots are going to add a little bit of darkness to the drawing. So it's going to look a little bit like shadow or shading. But you could also use it as a guide of where you use a darker color to color in. What else could we add something quickly? I know. Get my little pencil back. It seems to be looking at something. So over here, could draw a big dinosaur egg. Maybe it's his egg. Maybe it's he's going to eat the egg. And so I've drawn a big egg shape, and we'll draw a nest as well. So I'm just going to draw an oval beneath it. So I'm not going to see the bottom of that. I'm going to leave a little bit of those lines. I'm not going to see the backside of that. So I want to, this is where we can do some more hatching actually. I want it to look like it's grass and things all bent in. So I'm just drawing some curved lines in. Zoom in a little bit. So I just drew curved lines curving in. And then even around here, they can curve in and come down. So it looks like a nest. And then maybe the egg could have, it's a bit lopsided, my egg. It could have some spots on it or stripes. Could look like an Easter egg. It could have a crack in it. If it's about to crack open. There's some spots on it too. Or you could have just done some more stippling on the egg to give it some shading. This is where your hand will get tired doing this. And you'll also be tempted to go really fast and you'll end up ruining your pen or whatever you're using. Just do a little smudge to help it. There we go. So that is a little dinosaur guy watching over a little egg. Maybe he's hungry. He wants to eat it. Who knows? Let me see one last time if I can log in to this class so that I can see your artworks. I'd love to see them. Let me see. How's it looking, Peter? Are you seeing everyone else's drawings?
Yes, I can see some of them. Jaden, you need to turn off the background, otherwise I can't see it. I can see that Queenie. Audrey is really good. Oh. That.
I miss seeing everyone's faces too.
All right, I'll let you in the last time you say it.
Okay.
You still got 2 minutes. You still can do it.
Oh, can I see? Let me see. Oh,
Just don't turn on the camera. Just leave it like that. Maybe
just turn the camera off.
don't turn on the camera. On your
Everyone's
computer.
still frozen.
Still
Oh,
frozen.
I can see Hudson and Bryson are moving a bit. Oh, Jaden, that looks cool. I can see that
Yeah.
one. It's frozen again now. I don't know what's going on. I've rebooted my computer a couple of times. I apologize to everyone for not having my other computer working. Technical difficulties on my end. It's my fault. I apologize. But yeah. I'll try and get it fixed for next time. And I've been kicked out again. There we go. But yeah, what I did see looked good. So just try and remember, once you've done your drawings, you can always add in different kinds of hatching. So there's hatching, cross hatching, stippling, and random lines. There are others. One called uneven lines and things like that, but you can learn about them another time. Yeah, and they can always just make your drawings have a bit more life and a bit more detail in them, like wood grain and rocks and fur and things like that. Yeah, and I think that's it for today.
All right. Thank you, Evan.
No
Thank you,
worries.
everyone. I hope you enjoyed the class. Remember to take a photo of your artwork and send it to Brilliant Kids. Then I'm gonna show to Mr. Evan your work.
Yeah,
okay?
let's flood Brilliant Kids with dinosaurs. We want to see
Yeah.
a whole post of dinosaurs.
This dinosaur from Tuesday's class.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna unmute everyone to say goodbye to Mr. Evan.
Bye.
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 See you next Tuesday.
See
Okay?
you later.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.